Hello, welcome to the Church360 Unite. Slide it over one more time. Hello, welcome to the Church360 Unite Groups and Advanced Techniques webinar. Hi, my name is Rod Kiles and I am the manager of Concordia Technology Solutions Support. I've been with the company a little bit over 18 years now, and I really appreciate the opportunity to serve churches. You can reach me one of two ways. If you like, you can send an email to rod.kiles@cph.org. And if you'd like to give me a call, you could dial 314-268-1315. I kindly ask that you mute your phones and or microphones and post any questions you may have into the question window. Joining me today to answer the questions that you'll post in the question window will be James Bowman. He's one of our software support technicians. You can reach him by email at james.bowman@cph.org, and you can also reach him by phone at 314-268-1409. Okay, so these webinars are all kind of broken down into little chunks, and they all really have the same workflow. So we always start out with the class agenda. That's where we talk about the different parts of the webinar, and then we kind of switch gears and then we talk about the topics, and that's part of our class overview. So we're going to start out with our class overview, where we'll detail each one of the topics we're going to cover. Then we'll switch gears and we'll jump into our discussion. And this webinar is set for 90 minutes. The last time I ran the webinar, it was 91 minutes. So we should probably be pretty close to the same amount of time. So after the discussion, and usually I try to break around 45-50 minutes, then we'll have a 5-minute intermission. From there, we'll have our second part of the discussion, where we'll wrap up any topics that we didn't cover in the first part of the discussion. Then from there, we'll have our short quiz. No pressure on the quiz. It's just to reiterate some information and possibly tie up some loose ends. 4-question quiz this time. Feel free to participate if you'd like. Then from there, we'll have our question and answer session. So I do my best to keep an eye on the question box. It's on the right-hand side of my screen during the session, and James will be joining us. He will keep an eye on the box as well. If we don't get those questions answered during the session, I will answer those questions at the end of the session. So let's go ahead and go through our overview. So we're going to start out with talking about people. And inside of Church360 Unite, when it comes to people, those people are going to be stored underneath users. So we'll talk about all of the different aspects of users inside of Church360 Unite. We'll discuss syncing. Inside of Church360 Unite, you'll have those individuals that are stored, but they'll also be shared information between Church360 members and between Shepherd staff, depending on if you've purchased those two products. So syncing is focusing on syncing data between Shepherd staff and Church360 Unite. When it comes to Church360 members, you're actually sharing the data between the two inside of a shared database. But we'll, of course, talk about all that when we dig deeper into the content. Okay. So after syncing, we're going to talk about adding and show you how to add people into Church360 Unite. We'll show you how to import people into Church360 Unite. From there, we'll transition into groups. What is a group? A group is going to be a little section inside of your website where you can have separate content and you can have separate administrators. So we'll show you how to create groups. We'll show you how to set those groups up. Show you how to invite people to access your groups. Those are going to be your group members. Show you how to create discussions, and also show you how to add in group events. So we'll go through all 4 of those things. After that, we will talk about calendars, and we'll also talk about group calendars as well. So there's calendars inside the program, church-wide calendars. There's also group calendars, and there's shared content between Church360 members and Church360 Unite when it comes to calendars. So we'll touch base on all of those topics. After calendars, we'll discuss mailing lists, show you the activity tab and the importance of the activity tab. Then we'll have our quiz and we'll have our question and answer session. So those are all the things we're going to cover today. As you can tell, I'm excited. I hope you're excited as well. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's get started. So we're going to go ahead and switch screens. And I'm going to go to our Church360 Unite screen. I'm also going to turn off the webcam so we can maximize our presentation screen and we can focus in on the content and the material. So I'll do that. And everybody should be able to see my Church360 Unite screen. That looks good. And every church that owns Church360 Unite is going to be able to set up their own custom homepage. Our site is actually demo.360unite.com. And when you're looking in the address bar, we have a custom URL, and our custom URL is christbakersville.org. Excuse me. And with christbakersville.org, that just redirects the customer or the church member over to your Church360 Unite subdomain. So instead of typing demo.360unite.com, which would take you over to the exact same site, you could type in christbakersville.org and it would take you to the same page, and it's a little easier to remember. So that's why the domain name is different here at the top. And a lot of the packages for Church360 Unite include a domain name. If you want to purchase a domain name from us, you can definitely do that. And there's other companies out there that provide domain names as well. So it's not that you have to purchase one from us, but you may want to use one. You may want to purchase one and use one to ease the navigation from a search box or an address box over to the website. So I'm going to go ahead and sign in. And when I click sign in, that's going to take me to a login page. I've saved my username and password in the web browser so it goes ahead and pulls that information up. If you're on a shared computer, you want to be careful with that because then people would be able to access the website on that computer and go ahead and log in. I'm not on a shared computer, so I do save that information. And you can even tell it to remember you so that you can log in as well and save a little time there. So I'm going to go ahead and click on sign in. If I forgot my password, I can use the forgot password link to reset that option. I can also tie this into my Google account or my Facebook account. So once I'm logged in, I'm going to receive an additional admin bar here at the top. So across the top of the page is going to be our admin bar. It's going to have pages, posts, activities, users, themes, and settings. Then below that is going to be our main menu bar. And it's just going to be the pages that we've set up, and it's going to have the categories and drop down. So that's how you can kind of navigate to the different pages. Depending on your rights inside of the software, you'll be able to view certain information. And we're going to talk about rights right now for the most part. We're going to do this over the next 30 minutes. So at the top of the page, we're going to go to users. And once we click on users, these are going to be all of the people inside your Church360 Unite or your Church360 database. This could be people that you've manually entered into Church360 Unite. It could also be people that you've entered into Church360 members. And thirdly, it could be people that you have entered into Shepherd staff and then synced from Shepherd staff up to Church360 Unite. So it could be any of those three combinations. When it comes to sharing Church360 Unite with another church management software like Shepherd staff or Church360 members, it can only be one or the other. So if you're using Shepherd staff, you would not use Church360 members. And if you're using Church360 members, you would not use Shepherd staff. So you pick one or the other. This site right here is synced. You'll see here on the right-hand side. Let me move that over. There we go. So you'll see right here on the right-hand side, it says listing everyone from your Church360 members account. So that's how I know that it's synced with Church360 members instead of Shepherd staff. If you want to sync with Shepherd staff, you'll actually go to settings, And then on the integration tab, you'll enter in this information and you'll sync. So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to talk a little bit more about users. Then I'm going to come back and show the syncing process for those customers who use Shepherd Staff and Church360 Unite. Okay, so let me go back to users here at the top. So inside the users view, you're going to see everybody who's in your Church360 Unite database or your Church360 shared database. Running down the list will be all of the individuals. Some people think it's just members. It's actually everybody who's on the site. You'll notice on the right-hand side that there's listed or there's a listed column, and a person can be unlisted or the person can be listed, but it's going to include everybody, and you'll see their name here. You can sort by the column headers across the top. So you could sort by name, email address, role, last sign in, or listed. You do have the ability to sort. There are checkboxes that are running down the left-hand side, and clicking those checkboxes allow you to make changes, mass changes to the records that you have selected. So you'll notice that there are additional action buttons down here across the bottom. So there's change role, list, unlist, and delete. Then there's also an add people option. So most times the user's view is really used just to invite people or assign people's rights or roles inside of the software. And you can only be assigned to one role. Let's go ahead and so we'll find James in here. And actually, I think what I'm going to do, since James is not in here, I'm going to invite James to access the software. So to invite him, first thing I would need to do is add him into the system. So James is my associate who's answering questions inside of the chat window, question window. So to add him, I'm actually going to use the add button down here. Then I'm going to type in his name, James, last name, Bowman, and then type in his email address, james.bowman. Okay, and then I'm going to click add. That's going to add him into the system, and he's going to be here inside of Church360 Unite. People that you add in Church360 Unite will reside inside the Church360 database. Those people will flow over to Church360 members. They'll actually be in both locations. So by adding James here, he's actually going to show over in Church360 members as well. So once he's in here, I can check the little box to the left of his name, and then I can go down to change role. And what change role does is it allows you to invite somebody to the software, but it also gives you the option to increase or decrease their rights inside of the program. So you'll notice here at the top, it's going to say change role, then it's going to say change the role of James Bowman. If he does not have a login, or if that person does not have a login, changing the role means that you'll give them a certain level of rights inside of the software, but also clicking update will send them an invite as well. So this would invite James to Church360 Unite, making him a publisher. Now, you may ask, well, why are there 5 different options? And each one of the options is either an increase or a decrease on their rights inside of the program. So let me pause just one second. Hello, Debbie. Thanks for your question there. And Debbie asked, will James be automatically added to Shepherd Staff? And that's a great question. Debbie, James will not be automatically added to Shepherd Staff if, and this is a perfect time to say this. So if you are working with a church management software, when it comes to managing your person records, you probably want to use the church management software to create their record and to manage their record. So if you're using Shepherd Staff, you'll create James's record. You'll create James's record, Inside of Shepherd staff, or if you were using Church360 members, you create James's record most likely in Church360 members and then allow it to flow or be synced into Church360 Unite. Why would you do that? The reason why you would do that for Church360 members is because there's multiple or there's additional fields inside of Church360 members. So you're going to have birthday, baptism, confirmation, marriage, all of those significant life events, plus address, which you could add address information here, but there's just more information that you can fill out inside your Church360 management, Church360 member software. Same would go for Shepherd staff. You would update that information inside of Shepherd staff, where it's going to have all their personal information and family connections, and then sync it up. This really, when you talk about adding in a single record, would be if you are using Church360 Unite as a standalone product. Really good question. Thank you, Debbie. Okay, so when it comes to roles, the question, why would there be so many roles? So there's 5 roles, and each role gives you a different level of permissions inside of the software. So none means that you can have a login, or you may not have a login. And that means that you can't log into the private side of the website. So none means you don't have access to the private side. You can see the public side. Below that is user. And a user means that you can log into the private side and see information that isn't hidden, see information that is published on the site. And most cases, that means that you'll just be able to see pages and private pages here on the site. Now, there is a little bit of like a waggle or an offshoot when it comes to users and being able to do more than just see like the private side of the website. And that comes down to groups, which we're going to talk about more here in just a little bit. When it comes to groups, that gives you the ability to assign a group leader to a person. So a user can just be a person who can log in and see that private information. But if they're a group leader, they'll be able to go into the group and make changes to the group. So create pages, modify pages, start discussions. They'll be basically a leader of the group. And a group's like a little website within your website. And it's a little section that's kind of sectioned off and controlled by the group leader. So after user, there's going to be publisher. The difference between a user and a publisher is a publisher is going to have the rights to add content to the whole website. So if you want to give rights just to one person for a small subset of your website, you'll use a groups option with a group leader. If you want this person to have the ability to make changes to any of the content on the website, then you would make the person a publisher. Below publisher is going to be a designer, and a designer allows you to do everything a publisher can do, like adding content, but it also gives you the ability to select a different theme and modify the theme. So basically a designer is supposed to be a designer of the website. The 5th one is going to be administrator, and this takes you to your highest level where you can manage themes, but you can also manage settings and users as well. So an administrator can send out invites, change the general site settings, everything. So you're at the top of the list when it comes to rights inside the program when you are an administrator. Now, when working with the different roles, I'm going to click cancel here just 1 second. So while working with the different roles will change which options you can access across the top of your screen. So if you are a user, you won't see this admin bar at all. If you are a publisher, you'll just see pages, posts, and activities. If you are after publisher is designer, a designer, it will add in themes. And if you are an administrator, it'll give you the ability to do to access users and settings. So basically, as you go up, you get more tabs here in the admin bar. Okay, so at that point, let's go ahead and invite James. So we'll click on James's name here. We'll click change role. And let's say that he's going to be our backup administrator. So I'll click on may manage themes and settings, then click update. Then at that point, that will send him an invite, and it will change his role. Then we go down to James. Then we'll see his name here. It'll have the email address. It'll have his role, and then it'll tell you the last time he logged in or whenever we invited him. So you can kind of verify. If you see that the person was invited, a month ago, then you may just want to follow up with that person. Okay, to the right of list, or to the right of change role is list unlist. And list unlist works with your members view here inside of Church360 Unite. So I'm going to close this tab here just for a second. Then I'm going to go to, and I believe it's under Connect and Members. So here inside of Church360 Unite is going to be your members page. The members page is going to show you all of your members here inside of your database. Now, members, the term members here inside of Church360 Unite is kind of subjective in some aspects. It's called the members page because the thought is these would be your church members, but it could also be non-members that show on this page. So say Sue, Jacob, and Lacey were members of the church, but Dave was not a member. So he could be included on the page by going to users here at the top and making sure that Dave Abbott's listed checkbox is checked. And to change that option, you can click on the box here, and then you can either click list or unlist to list them. Now, when working with Church360 Unite and Church360 members, if you're marked as a member inside of Church360 member, it'll automatically mark you as listed. If you are a non-member in Church360 Unite, it will automatically mark you as unlisted. So, it's tied in to automatically work that way. If you go in here and check the box and then click unlisted, it will unlist the person, but it severs or breaks that connection. So it's no longer in sync, and you just manually control it at that point in time. So this also goes back to using the church management software as the primary place to manage your data. So you'll want to go in and manage your data either in Church360 members or Shepherd staff, and then use the sync to determine whether or not they're listed or unlisted. So inside of Shepherd staff, and let me go ahead and open up Shepherd staff so we can kind of tie all this together. So to access Shepherd staff, you'll have Shepherd staff installed on your computer. I'm just going to Alt-Tab over to Shepherd staff, and right now, for those people who are Shepherd staff users, you'll notice at the bottom of my login screen that it says version 2019 8.7. This is the most recent release of Shepherd staff, and right now we're planning on releasing Shepherd staff later on this week to the customer base, and as long as things go as planned, then that's when it should go out. Then, so I'm going to go ahead and log in. Click OK, and I'll just mention one thing about this. I won't get off track too much or anything. So we're just basically in the new version of Shepherd staff. We've redesigned the attendance module, so you can see when it comes up here just a second. Oh no, continue. There we go. So inside of here, I don't have any attendance data since this is a test database, but it's been redesigned from the ground up for those Shepherd staff users. Just the attendance module. And you can find out more about that by going to our shepherdstaff.org website and looking at the blog posts we've been posting for the last month there. Okay, so inside of there we'll go into membership, or outside of there we'll go into membership. And inside of membership, this will be a list of all of your people and households here on the left-hand side. And I'm going to click on people here just one second. And when you're looking at your list of people, if you grab the scroll bar and scroll all the way over to the right, there's going to be 3 checkboxes, or 3 columns, each one with checkboxes in them. So there's Unite, there's Pending, and there's Web Sync. Unite means that you want to sync these people to Unite. The Pending means that they are set to be synced the next time you run the sync, and Web Sync works with web tools. So really you're just focusing on these 2 columns, stating that the person belongs in Church360 Unite, and then stating whether or not there's any pending changes, or if you just want to send them the next time you do a sync. And we'll talk more about the sync here in just a second, but this is very similar to this is related to listed or unlisted inside of Church360 Unite. Let me go back here. There we go. So when you're working between the two products, if the person's supposed to be listed or unlisted, when you uncheck the person for show in Unite inside of Church360, when you unmark the person as show in Unite inside of Shepherd Staff, so let me go here, and let's click on Tim Davison here, and then go to the other tab. There's a checkbox that says show this person in Church360 Unite. When you uncheck that checkbox, then run a sync, it doesn't delete the person off of Church360 Unite. What it does is it unchecks this listed checkbox. So basically they no longer show in your members directory. If you want to take the person off of Church360 Unite, you'd use the checkbox here on the left, and then you would click delete. Then that would delete the person off of Church360 Unite. Now that is just for Shepherd Staff customers. When it comes to Church360 members customers, if you use this delete option, it will delete the person from the Church360 universe, meaning that when you delete him, it deletes him out of the database. Then that person doesn't show in Church360 Unite, or doesn't show in Church360 members. So you want to be cautious with the delete button if you're using Shepherd Staff or if you're using Church360 members. But if you're using Church360 members, it's even more serious, because you would be deleting that person from the database. And in doing so, it just deletes that person. That person could be restored through the audit log. Restate that. Could be restored through the event log inside of Church360 members, and I also believe inside of Church360 Unite, but I'll double check that. But if you delete that person, they could be restored. Deleting someone doesn't delete their attendance or offering records. So if you're using the two products and you delete that person, that information is still there in a summary capacity. You just couldn't print contribution statements. So, I have a question here from Jonathan. Hello, Jonathan. Does it still respect rules for members who have unlisted fields like phone or email? That's a great question. It does still respect that information. So we were talking about users just a couple of minutes ago, and I guess we're still talking about users. We're wrapping that up now. When it comes to your role, if you're a user, then you won't have rights to see unlisted information. So it does still respect that right. So when you log in, you just won't see unlisted information. You'll be able to see that they're associated or affiliated with this church, but you won't be able to see their unlisted addresses, phone numbers, emails. Okay. So that's change role list, unlist. I showed add people just a second ago, how to add a single person. What I'm going to do is show you how to use the download CSV template. So how to download it and how to import from CSV. So when I download, it's just going to download the template here. And then if I double click on it, it will launch that template and allow you to either copy and paste information into the template, or it will allow you to just type information into the template. So if I go in here and let's say we're going to use David, Sarah, actually let's do Samantha, Tammy, and Tanya. Then last name, let's say Billings. We're going to use Edwards. Okay, so making these up on the fly. Okay, so say that and then email address, and let's say that it's david.edwards@mail.com. And we only have one email address. So once we've created our spreadsheet, this one's Unite plus CSV plus template 1. So then I'm just going to say File and Save. And actually I want to use save as. And I'm just going to save this to, just save it to my downloads there. You want to overwrite it? Yes. Then from there, I'm going to say import and template. Sort this by date. Oh, I'm on the desktop. That's why. Okay. Downloads. There it goes. Unite. Open. Then I'm just going to pull in the names. I can make additional changes at this point. sam.edwards@mail.com. Then if I click add, it will just add in the Edwards family. So I'll type in Edwards here. Then those individuals are now added in. Now, if I import the people here into Church360 Unite, they will flow over to Church360 members. They will not flow down to Shepherd staff. So in most cases, we would advise as a best practice, if you're working with Church360 members, just to enter those people into Church360 members, and then to use this import utility if you're just using Church360 Unite as a standalone software. Okay, so that's the information that we have for users, just simply the user screen. We'll come back to mailing list here in just a second. Now, I do want to show the sync process. So to sync, we'll go to settings and we'll go to integration. And inside of here, this is the demo database, and it has a certain token here. I'm not going to sync with the demo because that's kind of like a whole setup thing that we have here inside of the building. I'm going to go over to the big church, and the big church is a sample concept that I've had for quite a few years now. And I'm going to go ahead and sign in. There we go. And once I sign in, I'm going to go to settings and I'm going to go to integration. Then it's going to have my subdomain name here. Then I'm going to copy our token, and the subdomain name and the token make sure that the whole sync process is between the correct Shepherd staff software and with the correct Church360 Unite website. So I'm going to switch here and go back to Shepherd staff. And on the main screen, there's going to be utilities, there's going to be settings, and then there's going to be a web tab. And on the web tab, there's going to be Church360 Unite. There's going to be the domain name, and I've used this with quite a few of my test sites. So I'm going to switch this to the big church and then save that. And then I'm going to click the pencil and paste in our correct account token and save there. So now I'm going to sync this database with our Church360 Unite website. So once I type in that information, save it and click OK, then I can go into membership and I'm going to OK here. Let me mention this area here real quick. So web connection. So I do have the checkbox checked. This person is in Church360 Unite. Then it has last sent 9/6/2018. And I can click view changes for this person made from Church360 Unite. So it is a full sync. It'll pull information down from Church360 Unite into Shepherd staff. Then also I can state, hey, I want to send this person no matter what. So that's what this little pending option is. That's this option here on the right-hand side here. So then okay, and close. Then from there, I'm going to close a couple of these windows that I want to in the church dashboard. Then I'm going to go to Tools, and I'm going to go to Church360 Unite. From there, there'll be two tabs. There'll be the Synchronize tab and the Settings tab. Synchronize allows me just to simply go through with my sync. The Settings tab does allow me to verify my, and let me close membership. That should have updated there. Close, reopen membership, tools, There we go. Okay, so now it's showing the correct subdomain and it's showing the correct Unite account token. So then from there, I'll have sync options and I can sync just the people with data changes, or I can send everyone. This is my very first sync. So I'm going to send everyone who's designated as showing in Church360 Unite. So then I'll click OK. Go back to the Synchronize tab and I'll click Sync. When clicking Sync, it is honoring these two options here, Send and Receive. So if there were any changes that were made inside of Church, let me go down here real quick. Sending 678, it happens pretty quick, but if there were any changes that were made in Church360 Unite, it would pull those changes down and they would show in Shepherd staff at that point in time. And let me add one other little caveat to that. It does allow you to decline changes coming from Church360 Unite. So you're not forced to accept those changes. If they're being pulled down, it'll give you the option to accept or decline those changes. So sometimes you may see those changes and say, hey, that doesn't make sense, or, you know, I don't want that information. You can decline those options. Okay, so that's how the sync works. Once it's synced, let's switch here, Big Church. Then I can go to users, and then those users will now show here in Church360 Unite, and they'll also show on our, so I'll go to pages and I'll go to members. And those people will also show on our members page. Okay, so showing each one of those individuals. Now, one of the benefits of using the one of the benefits of using a church management software is the fact that it will group family members together on your members page. So the fact that I'm syncing from Shepherd staff or syncing from Church360 members means that it'll give you a family grouping. Now, if you're just using Church360 Unite, it won't group those individuals together. It's just gonna, each person's gonna be their own person, and it's just gonna show them person after person after person after person. But if you have a church management software like Shepherd staff or Shepherd staff or Church360 members, then it gives you that grouping capability. So that's one benefit of using one of those two products with Church360 Unite. So let's go back to our demo site here and close here. And now let's talk about the members page. So inside of here, this members page is going to be your online directory. And you can think about it that way. People who have access to the site will be able to see the people that you are showing as listed. You can type in a few characters of the individual's name and it will start to filter. And below that, you'll be able to see the listed information. So you'll be able to see address, phone number, email address. And this is going to be household information here. To see additional household information, you can click on the household name. Then this will be a page that shows you all of their household information plus additional detail about each of the individuals. Any of the hyperlinks you can click on, and it will either, like this would launch our email client by clicking on the email address. Clicking on the name would jump us over to a profile or a person record. And then when you're on the profile or the person record, that will give you additional information about the groups that they belong to. It'll also give you recent activity, which is going to be information about posts that they've made on the site. So when working with this, you're really in a profile. You'll notice that there's not a great deal of information here, so you're not seeing birthdays and baptisms and confirmations and pastoral visits. All that information is going to be handled by your church management software. There's a question from Karen. Hello, Karen. Karen asked, what is the difference between Church360 members and Shepherd staff? The two programs are pretty similar when it comes to, I guess, concept. They're both church management softwares. They help you manage your membership, your attendance, your offering records. Shepherd staff has a built-in finance program, so it's all, you know, kind of together in one program. Church360 is kind of a suite of programs, so it's Church360 Unite, Church360 Members, and Church360 Ledger. Information flows between those three products. Probably the biggest difference that customers notice is that Shepherd Staff is a desktop software and Church360 Members is a web-based program, so it's in the cloud. So that's the easiest thing to point, right off tops with the difference between the two. But there are some other navigational differences. The core feature set is similar, but the biggest feature that customers point to is the fact that it's web-based. Thanks for that question, Karen. Okay, so back to members here. And when it comes to members, we're going to go back to the members page here just for a second. And when you're on the members page, you'll notice all of your households. You'll have the individuals grouped together as family members. You'll notice how it says invite member here at the upper right. And clicking that will just take you to the users page. There we go. And then you can go in here and you can use the checkboxes to invite somebody to access the software. Users, close, there we go. Then you'll notice it also says members only. Now the members only page, you're welcome, Karen, thank you. Now the members only page, now the members page is always going to say members only. This is a page that cannot be turned public. So a page can either be public or private after it's been published. With the members page, it doesn't give you a chance to divulge this information. You'll always have to log in to access the members page. So that's why that button says there, says members only at the upper right. It's not something you can click on. It's more of a statement saying, hey, this page is locked. You have to log in to view this page. So let's click on Abbott here to view the Abbott household. This view is, or the information here for households is editable from this view. So we're going to go to Edit Household. Then inside this view, now that we've edited the household, you can make changes inside of here. The changes made in here will flow over to Church360 members. You can update or make modifications. They'll apply here in Church360 Unite, but they'll also flow over to Church360 members. With making changes, even though you can make it here in Church360 Unite, if you're using Church360 members, you may want to allow the membership secretary to manage the data from Church360 members. Down here at the bottom, you can change the sort order. So Lacey is probably older than Jacob. You can drag and drop them into the correct position. So you can update the household. And then, yeah, give it a second there. Then you can click the back button down here at the bottom, and then that'll take you back to this view. So Dave, Sue, Lacey, then Jacob, and then that's how you can make modifications and changes there. When you drill into a person, when you're in their person record, we've already kind of talked about the content that you should expect to see here, but you can also edit his profile. So edit my profile. Then from there, you being an administrator, you would be able to make changes to his personal information in here and just modify it. It's very similar to what you see inside of Church360 members. You can type in addresses, you can mark items as unlisted, plus to add, circle the minus, those types of things. Hello, Karen. Karen asks, what if Lacey turned 18 and moved out of the house? How would you handle that? So, with households and that personal, I guess that's household management instead of personal management. With managing that data, that household data, what you would do is you would go into Church360 members, and I guess there could be a Shepherd Staff option for that as well, but in Church360 members, you would go in, change her address, and then when you go to save her address, it'll give you the option to move her to a new household. If you're in Shepherd Staff, what you'll do is you'll create the household, and then you'll use the move button at the bottom of the grid to move her to that newly created household. So when it comes to managing households, you wouldn't be able to manage the, I guess the how would I say that? The dwelling. You wouldn't be able to manage the person's living status or the person's household status. None of those fit. You wouldn't be able to change where the person lives inside of Church360 Unite. you would have to manage that either in Shepherd staff or take care of that either in Church360 members. Good question. Okay, so once we've made changes to, or once we made any changes, we would use the update button down here at the bottom, and then that would update information inside of Church360 members instantly. You could also sync that information down to Shepherd staff if you wanted to. And since users can log in and make changes themselves, so say they got a new cell phone number, that change would be flagged inside the database. And when you went to sync, you'd have the option to pull that information down into Shepherd staff. Okay, so there's one other thing that I want to show, then we're going to take our short 5-minute intermission there. Here at the upper right, there's going to be welcome. Then it's going to say Rod, that's me. Then it's going to say settings, and there's going to be sign out. So if I click on Rod, that's going to take me to my profile and allow me to go in here and make changes. So users who log in would have the ability to update their own record. You have to have higher permissions to update other records. Then also, if I go to settings, this allows me to go in here and change my own settings. So I went in and gave myself a username that allows me to log in as Rod and type in, a new password. I can also link with my Facebook account and my Google account. When I'm under my profile, there's a setting in here that's only accessible by the person who's logged in. So if I go to edit my profile, and I'm the one who's logged in, when I go to my profile, I'll have this option down here at the bottom, I'd like to be seen in the membership directory. This here gives the user the right to state whether or not they're visible in the members directory. This gives the user the right to state whether or not they are visible in the members directory. So this option cannot be overwritten by an administrator. Whenever you're logged in, you have the right to this option. You're the only one who can see it, and you can determine whether or not you're shown in the members directory. So you can basically override what the church is saying here and turn it off. So you can turn it on yourself and you can turn it off, but it comes up to the user at that point. This is I guess an extra safety valve. So if they didn't want to be shown, they could just uncheck it and hide themselves basically. Okay. So let's go ahead and switch over to our PowerPoint. There we go. And we're going to go ahead and clock. Okay. And then we'll start our timer. So during this time period, you can step away for a second if you need to. Type in a question in the question box, which we will answer for you. Grab something to drink, whatever you needed to do, and we'll see you here in just a few minutes. Thanks, everyone. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Okay, that looks good. Let's go ahead and go back to Church360 Unite here. And now that we've gone through and fully discussed people syncing, adding, importing, managing their records and everything, let's go ahead and transition into groups. So all of the pages are going to be managed underneath the Pages tab here at the upper left of your screen inside your admin bar. And when it comes to groups, a group is considered a page. And even though it's considered a page, I like to think of a group as a website within your website. So that's the way I like to think of a group. And working with groups, it actually can be something that's stored either under available pages or under active menu items. Let me restate that. It can be shown under available menu items or active menu items. And that's probably something you guys talked about or spoke about yesterday when Jordan was hosting his session. To create a group, you'll use the Add Page group here at the upper right, Add Page here at the upper right. When you click on that, you can select the type of page that you want to create. So I'm going to click on the group icon here and click Create Page. And the page that I want to create is Technology Exploration. So this is going to be a special group within our church that's helping people learn about technology. So to create the group, you'll type in the name, you'll press Enter, and then that will create that group. You'll then say Save Changes. And then that will save your changes. Now, in working with this, that group can be over here on the right-hand side underneath available menu items, and it can also be over here under active menu items, just depending on how you want to set up your website. So if you want that page to be part of the navigation, by all means, put it underneath active menu items. A neat thing that Peter Frank did when he set this up is he created a groups page, and I'm going to find out where that groups page is. So underneath ministries, he has a groups page, and that groups page basically has a hyperlink to all of the groups here for this church. So instead of having like a long list of groups in one of the items, he created a page and he created hyperlinks on that page so that you can, see all the groups here at the church and then jump over to one of those groups and find out more about that group. So if you don't have a lot of groups, you may just want to have them in the navigation. But if you have a lot of groups, you may want to create a page and then basically create widgets inside of that page so that you can jump to any of your groups, find any of your groups at any point in time. So I'm going to follow that that thought process of basically linking our group inside of that groups page with all of our other groups. So now that I've saved my changes and I've refreshed the page, Technology Exploration is down here in basically alphabetical order, closer to the bottom here. So excuse me. Okay, so now that we've created the group, when it comes to permissions and rights, when it comes to most of your pages, that's going to be managed down here at the bottom. When it comes to your groups, it's actually going to be managed inside of the group. I would even say that your group leader is going to have rights to set up who can see whatever information inside of that group. So the group leader definitely has a higher elevation of rights inside of the program. So I'm going to click here and go to our Technology Exploration group. Here we go. Now, inside of our Technology Exploration group, it's going to have its own discussion area, events, group members, an area where you can manage the group, and membership settings. Since I created the group, I'm automatically made the group leader and I'm made a member of the group. You being administrators, you may set up groups, invite a group leader. Once that group leader is inside of the group and working with it, take yourself out of the group. So that's a possibility as well. Whenever you first access the page, it's going to be draft and it's going to be blank. So this is the home page for Technology Exploration. it has all of the rights that any other page would have. So over here on the left-hand side, there's edit page. You can, select the layout that you want. You can go through and make any changes that are needed. It's just a page like all other pages at that point. So you'll just go through and modify and tweak it and make it the way that you want it to be. Okay, so let's skip discussions, events, members, and let's start with edit this page. Then we'll double back up to the top. So if we go to edit this page, I'm going to restate that one more time. Edit this group. So it'll allow us to type in a description, and you'll notice, let me go back here to ministries and groups here, how underneath each one of these groups there was this short description. And basically that description, I'm going to go back, is what's written in here. So this group available to people of all ages. Third Thursday. Okay, so so then once we've typed in our description, you can below that add in additional pages. So it's kind of like its own little website. You can have up to 3 pages, 3 additional pages. So say we wanted a documents page, we could add that in. If we had certain files that we wanted to share, we could create a files page. Then to make the page active, you'll use the little checkbox, and you'll notice how they jump over here to the right-hand side. And the order that you check them is the order that they'll appear over here on the right-hand side. You can click on the link, and then that will take you directly over to the page. I'm going to go back. And you can also click on the row, and that will allow you to change the name of the page or delete the page. So, there's a little bit of management directly inside of that window. Below that's a couple of warnings, things we've run into over the years. Remember, your group's homepage will not be visible to others while it is in draft status. So it's currently in draft status. And remember, linking to a draft page, while not a group leader or a system administrator, will render a 404 page not found because it's not available to other people to see. So we'll want to be careful about those couple of things. Those are things we've run into in the past. Now, below that, there's going to be the permissions inside of this group. These only apply to this group. It doesn't apply to any other group or any other page. Being an administrator or group leader, you'll be able to go in here and state one of 5 options for each one of these pages. And I guess you could say it's only one of 4 for the majority of the pages. So for your home page, it can be only group leaders. Say basically we're getting this group started and we don't want everybody to see it yet. It could be only group members. This is more of a private group. It could be Unite users, meaning that anybody who can log into Unite will be able to see this page. And it could be everyone public, meaning that anybody who accesses the site will be able to see this page. Then there's no one hidden, which allows you to turn those pages off completely. So no one's going to use discussion or no one's going to use events. So let's say that this technology group is basically going to be something that can be accessed only by people who can log into Church360 Unite. Then from there, there's going to be who can join this group, anyone who is logged into the site, only people I have invited. So the only people I have invited and only group members are going to be used in situations where you're basically making this a private group, like a church council group. So it's, it's private, only certain people can see those options. So then at that point, you'll say update group. There we go. Then that will update our group page. There we go, blank page there. Then if you go to documents, this page is still in draft status. Over here on the right-hand side, you can go to edit page and you can make changes. So you could go to draft, go to published, save changes, and then that page would no longer be a draft page and it would be accessible by whoever you stated could see this page in the other parts of the program. And you could make whatever changes you needed to make at that point in time. You could embed video, you could upload audio files, documents, images, all the things that you saw in the prior video you would be able to do inside of this group. So let me close that. Documents, files. Let's go back up here to our discussion page. And actually, before I do that, let's go to members, because I think that makes more logical sense. So now that we've set up our group, let's say that we want to invite some people to see this group. So I'm the group leader now, but really I'm not going to be the one setting this up. Let's say that James Bowman, he's going to be our group leader and he's actually going to set this group up. So then what I'll do is down here at the bottom, it's going to say all members, select an option. And inside of here, I can type a few characters, find Mr. Bowman. And then I can say either invite him saying, hey, do you want to join? Or, hey, we already have an agreement that you're going to do this. I'm just going to say add member. So if I say invite, it does send them an email to invite them to the site, which they can click on the link and access the program. You do have to be invited to Church360 Unite before you can be invited to join a group. So there is an order there that you do have to follow. Now that I've added James as a member of the group, I can check the box here. Then I can use the 3 action buttons here at the top. Excuse me. Sorry about that. So then I can change role, and I can either promote him to a leader or demote him to a member. So promote him to a leader, now he's a group leader, and he'll have rights to manage this group at this point in time. Once you're a group leader, you do have the ability to send out emails to selected people who are part of the group. You can even email the whole group. So there is definitely additional power to being a group leader. Below that, below these items, there is going to be request. And if this is a group where you have to, or if this is a group that people can request joining the group, then their requests will come under here and you can accept or decline their requests. If someone's in the group for a time period and say they move on to a different church or move on to do something different, you can use the circle minus to delete them from the group. So deleting them from the group doesn't delete their user or their person record. It just severs their connection with the group. So we're going to leave James on this group, and I'm going to refresh this page. Okay, and once the page refreshes, then James should show over here on the right-hand side, and everything should work the way that it should at that point. So let's go up to discussions. Discussions is the area where you can start a discussion, either submit a prayer request or make an announcement. Now, only group leaders can make announcements. So when we're thinking about this, being a group leader definitely allows you to broadcast information more than someone who's just a member of the group. A group member can fill out a prayer request and start a discussion. So where do we want to meet next week? So that could be a discussion. Then you could post that, and then the next person can reply if they want to reply. You can delete it. Then you can also edit it and change it. So exclamation point. Update. Okay, so modifications and changes can be made. And maybe I was a little impatient with that update there. Oh, so it did update. Perfect. Okay, so discussions, prayer requests, announcements. When it comes to updating and discussions and different things that's posted on the site, on this group, there are membership settings down here at the bottom. And those membership settings will say, hey, send me an email when a member of my group posts a comment. Send me an email when a leader makes an announcement. Don't send me an email notification for this group. So if you want to, like when those prayer requests come out, if you want to receive those, then you want to be on this top option. If you just want to hear things from leaders and you want to be on announcements, and if you're like, hey, I'm already in the know, I'm already in the loop, then you can say, don't send me email notifications for this group. And you can also leave this group. There is a question from Ruth Ann. Hello, Ruth Ann. When you email a group, where is the email coming from? Your email or your Outlook? I would say that, oh, that's a good question. When you send an email to the group, so I'm going to go back to members here, and I'm going to check group leader, and then email selected. And I believe it hands it off to your default email client. Let me give that just a second there. There you go, it's thinking now. So yeah, it hands it off to your default email client. There we go. So, and I understand where the question's coming from, because with Church360 Unite, what it does is, I guess there's two types of emails you can receive. They can be emails that are crafted by the people who log into the program, and there also can be crafted by Church360 Unite, like invites are crafted by Church360 Unite. We're going to talk about calendars here in just a second. It has reminders, those are crafted by Church360 Unite. So great question, I appreciate that. Okay, so I'm going to close this and close this and close this. Okay, so discussions, events, documents, files, I talked about those, membership settings. So add a summary, so I can add a summary to this group as well. I guess, oh, I don't think I saved my changes when I typed in my summary. So instead of typing that in, again, I'm just going to say this is a summary. This is a summary. And that's my description. So then update group. There we go. So then we should have a summary for our group at this point. Before we talk about events, what I want to do is go to our ministries and groups page. And underneath our ministries and groups page, when I go to edit page here on the left-hand side, I'm going to scroll down and you'll kind of notice how these items have blocks, okay? Then if I click here and I go to the little groups icon here down at the bottom right, click there, I can select which group that I want to insert as a widget, and I can select small, medium, or large. So large is going to be the one that includes the hyperlink to the group. It's going to include our description, and it's also going to include our group leaders on the page. The medium one takes off the group leaders, and the small one will take off the description. So I'm going to show large, and when I click OK, it's going to have the hyperlink for the group, it's going to have our summary, then it's going to have our group leaders here on the right-hand side. Then at that point, I'll just click Save. And then on our groups page, scroll down, let me collapse our panel here. I can click on the link to jump me over, and then I can also, shoot an email off to, or actually go over to his profile where I could shoot an email off to James if I wanted to, or whoever the group leader would be at that point in time. Okay, so let's go back to our technology exploration group. And at this point, the next thing to talk about is calendars and events. So there's going to be events here on the right-hand side. If I click on events, that brings up the events view for this group. So in looking at it, we don't have any events on this page right now. To add an event, I think we said the third Thursday of every month. So this is September. let's say that we're going to go, I'm going to do the 20th here, even though the 20th has already passed. But we're going to say title, and this is going to be our technology exploration event. Okay, and it's automatically going to put it on our calendar, and you can attach it to other calendars that are inside the system as well. To manage those calendars, and let me close Outlook here. There we go. So we don't hear any more notifications. So to access calendars, we'll go to settings and we'll go to calendars. Now, calendars are going to be a grouping mechanism inside of Church360 or inside the Church360 universe. And when I say it's a grouping mechanism, it's going to group events together. Now, those events could be significant life events. They could be church-wide events. They could be group events. It could be like a basketball tournament. So there could be different events there. And you can create as many calendars as you'd like here inside of the system. So this is a shared site. So we have quite a few that are already in here. It looks like I don't have one called youth group, so I'm going to make that a calendar. And then create calendar, then it'll just, it already exists. So we do have youth group. So we're going to say young adults group. Okay, so create, then that will create that group and drop it into the correct alphabetical order. These calendars are shared between Church360 members and Church360 Unite, so it is shared information. You'll notice the different icons here, and those icons represent like a couple of things. So it'll represent that, hey, this is being managed by the group. It also lets you know whether or not that calendar is locked. So basically, if you click on the group and you say users can see this, then it'll be visible to users. I will discuss that further with the team, but you can make changes, and like I know I can change this one, but we just recently made a change. Let me throw this out there. We just recently made a change to increase the security on the site. Not that it wasn't secure before, but to upgrade security on the site. So I think that's why I can't make changes to nobody, users, or everyone for the significant life events calendars that are being shared between. This is required by Church and cannot be changed. I thought you could change it to users though, so I want to follow up with them on that. But nobody means that nobody can see that view. Users means that users can see that view, and everyone means that everyone can see that view. And so like if we're here underneath business planning, and actually let's go to our young adults group. So we could say nobody, we could say users, meaning that anybody who logs into the site would be able to see it, and then we could say everyone, and then that means that everyone would be able to see that group. So see the calendar events that are going to be part of that group. So then I could say save changes, and really I want this to be users. Then I would say save changes, and then that would update. Then over here on the right-hand side, it would say visible to users. Down below a little bit further, there's going to be include events from Google Calendar. So we can import our, and it's a show more than an import, but you can see those events on the events view inside of the program. So let's go ahead and let's go back. I'm going to close here. We're in the process of creating this event. I want to add it in so that we can see it here on the technology exploration calendar, but we'll also see it on our church-wide calendar as well. So say this is going to be the technology room, and then let's say that it starts at 4:30 and runs to 5:30. This is not an all-day event, but it does repeat. and then it's every single month on the third Thursday. And we could add in additional rows if it's going to happen more or less. But then you can say when it's going to start and if it's going to end. Let's say this is just an ongoing thing. We could fill in a description. Please bring your technology-related questions. Then from there, you can say, I want to invite people. Since we're inside the group, it could just be James and myself. And then you can state, how many reminders you want to send. So you don't want to send too many reminders, but you could say a week before and a day before. Then you can create the event. From there, it will create the event and send out your invites. Those invites are created through the software. It's not something manual you have to do. The colors that we've assigned, we go to settings and go to calendars. The colors that we've assigned here will apply to that group. So our group is the technology exploration event. The darker colors work better than the lighter colors because the font that's going to show on the calendar is going to be a white font onto the dark background. So I'm going to reload this screen here. Then from there, it'll be like white on blue. So, and then this is the only event on this calendar. If we go to calendar here at the top, then this is going to show all of our events. So this is going to be church-wide. Since I have rights to the technology exploration group, that's going to show here. To make a change to the different calendars that are showing, I can click on calendars, then check and uncheck the ones that I don't want to see at that point in time. Then click away, and then I'm just showing those events. When it comes to setting up and managing your calendar colors, you don't want them all to be the exact same color unless they're similar in purpose or function. So ones that are similar, you'd want to give the same color. So maybe you want all your significant life events ones to be like a red color, and then maybe all the church-related ones could be purple, and maybe, and you can kind of mix and match your colors. Then when you go to view your calendar, a different color will actually mean something. So that's one of the best practices inside the software, so you don't get a whole calendar full of blue or green or something like that. So, okay, so once you're in here, you can click on an event to make changes to that event. So click in here, then go to edit, and you can modify and change the event. You can add it to my calendar, and you can also invite other people to the event. It does have RSVP, so when people receive that invite, they can state whether or not they're going to come or not. So, there is RSVP built in. Okay, so let's go back. I'm going to go to Pages and go to our exploration group here, Technology Exploration. Then from there, let's go to Events. And underneath Events, you can drag these to a different day. So, each event, even though it's part of a series, can be dragged and dropped. And if you need to create an event, you can either use the New button or click on the day to create the event. I guess the last thing that's kind of relevant here is you can switch this from a monthly view to a weekly view, and the weekly view is like your agenda style view. So it's just basically going down the page is what it's doing. So, okay. So let's go ahead and let's look at a couple of things. We're winding down now. It looks like we're going to run a few minutes long here, but we're getting close to the end. If you need to drop off, feel free to drop off. We are going to send out the recording of this webinar, and it'll be posted on YouTube, and at some point it'll be posted on our resource channel as well. So in looking at this, let's go ahead and look at my sheet here. Let's go ahead and go to the activity view. So if we go to activity And activities, I know that you guys talked about comments yesterday and managing comments. There is the event log, and the event log tracks the different changes that are made in the Church360 universe. So inside of here, we imported these people. So they've been added, so it's showing that. We didn't delete anybody, but if you do delete somebody, then they'll show in here and you'll be able to restore them. And it basically is tracking the different things that you do inside the program. Below the event log is going to be the email log, and the email log tracks, we'll give it just a second here, it tracks the different emails that are being sent out. So earlier we sent out an invite to James. We also invited Rod to an event, so it shows that those are delivered. If there's a problem, it'll state, what happened. It failed permanently. This is a made-up email address, so it just failed. But if something's going on with the blast, let us know, and we'll look into it. So you can use the I button down here at the lower right, and you can send us a message, and then that message will be received by the technicians, and then they'll respond to it. You can also give us a call. So if it's urgent, don't feel like you have to email. Give us a call, and we'll take care of it. So. And then there's a little expand here. So if it's a group blast, you'll be able to expand and find out what's going on with the different components of it. So this wasn't, fully sent out. The majority of them failed there, 3 out of 5. But it kind of gives you a percentage there. To send out a blast to your whole church, you can go to users, or a subset of your church. You can go to your users. And then go to mailing list, and mailing list allows you to create mailing lists. So I'm going to create mailing lists for young adults, then create mailing list, and then that'll drop it down here at the bottom. Then if you click on the row, it'll allow you to change the name, but you can also, let me scroll down just a little bit, select names from a drop list. So it'll allow you to select names, select groups, and select other, allow you to select other mailing lists as well. So say I wanted to include men's club. So you can add all 3 of those to a mailing list, click save. Then at that point, it worked that time. James, men's club. And it worked that time. I'm not sure. Maybe it's young adult ministry. Nope, it worked that time all the way through. So it included all 3 items. Then you can check the box there. And then at that point, there's going to be email down at the bottom. Click email, and then opening your mail client is actually handing it off to your email client at that point in time. And that's down here. No. Just 1 second there. Okay. Email, opening mail client. Email, opening mail client. There we go. And then it'll hand it off to your default email client. And one thing I didn't mention earlier, and this Grammarly thing, this is not an advertisement for Grammarly. Basically, Grammarly is a utility that you use to proofread your emails. So it's a free utility that I use to proofread my emails. So then it'll show here, it'll cloak the email addresses so everybody can't see all of the email addresses. then at that point in time, you could type in your subject, fill in the body, and attach any files and send your emails out at that point in time. Okay, so I'm going to say no to save changes. There are a few questions that came into the question box from Ruth Ann. What I'm going to do, since it's 11:30 right now, is I'm going to switch over to the quiz, and then I'll double back and I'll grab your questions there. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's have our quick 4-question quiz here. So question number, here we go. Okay, so question number 1, or poll question number 1, true or false? Launch. So everybody should be able to see the poll question, true or false? People, household, event, and calendar information is shared between Church360 Unite and Church360 members. I missed the comma there, so it should be people, household, event, and calendar information is shared between Church360 Unite and Church360 members. True or false? Okay, it looks like everybody has had a chance to vote. So I'll close the poll and share the results. We were unanimous in our decision. We said 100% of the people said it's true. So I'm going to go ahead and hide the results and show the answer. Of course, the answer is true. Church360 shares information between its 3 programs, Church360 members, Church360 Unite, and Church360 Ledger. Okay, question number 2. Deleting a person in Church360 Unite will also delete the person from Church360 members. True or false? Okay, it looks like everybody has voted, so I'll go ahead and close the poll and share the results. So we had a split 63-38, so we got 1 additional percentage point there. I believe it rounds, but 63 is true, 38 is false, so we'll hide the results and show the answer. The answer is true. Please be careful when deleting people in Church360 Unite. This will also delete the person from Church360 members. Question number 3. Okay, true or false? After logging into Church360 Unite, group leaders can make changes to any page in the website. True or false? Okay, we'll give it about 15 more seconds here. Okay, we'll go ahead and close the poll and share the results. So we had a 92-8 split. 92% of the people said false and 8% said true. So we will hide the results and we'll share the answer. The answer is false. Leaders can only manage the groups they are assigned to lead. So if you set up somebody as a group leader, they don't have rights to, everything inside of the program. It just gives them rights to that group. Okay, and our 4th and final quiz question. True or false? The mailing list feature can be used to send an email to a list of people. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close the poll and share the results. And once again, we are unanimous. So 100% of the people said true. We'll go ahead and close close the results and show the answer. And the answer is true. Mailing lists are used to select people, groups, and other and ever other mailing lists. Mailing lists are used to select people, groups, and other mailing lists together so that a single email can be sent to multiple people. So the answer is true. Okay. Do you have any questions? And we did get some questions from Ruth. Before people start dropping off quickly, I do want to thank everybody for attending today's Church 360 Unite webinar. We truly hope you enjoyed today's sessions, and if you have any questions after the question and answer session, we'd love to hear from you. You can give us a call at 1-800-346-6120. Of course, you can send an email to support@cts.cph.org. Okay. Hello, Ruth. The first question from Ruth: we have concerns with groups being able to put events on the church calendar. We have one person who is in charge of the facilities calendar, rooms, AV support, HV, nursery care, all go through this person. If you have groups putting events on the calendars, we could have two different groups in the same room, same day and time. I'd say that's definitely true. You know, if you had multiple people working in it, those types of things definitely can happen. Probably what I would do is not use the group events. You know, if you have that concern, you know, it's strictly the, I guess, the prerogative of the church to kind of utilize this tool in the best way for their church, so for their church office. So yeah, you could definitely do that. You can say that it's turned off and just use the main calendar there. There's another question from Ruth Ann. Can we have a form on Unite that users can fill out, and then that form is sent to a staff member? Yes, you can. There's tons of form builders out there. It's not native to the software, but there's tons of free form builders out there that you could use. Wufoo is one. Wufoo is one of them. I remember it because the name is so unique, but there's other ones out there as well that will allow you to create forms. And the more features you know, that you can incur a cost at some point, or you'd have to agree to a cost to get additional features. But with the basic features, you'd be able to get those for free. So, the next question is from Ruth. Hello, Ruth. What if your list of prayer chain emails is too long for the email client? The email client should be able to handle an unlimited number of email addresses. Really, the problem comes in when the email provider only allows you to send out so many emails at a time. So if that's the case, like say they have a limit, you can only send out 50 emails at a time, you could contact them and ask them to increase your limit. So if you need 100, 150, 200, you know, ask them to bump your limit up, you know, and basically they do that so that people don't spam other people, but also so that people don't accidentally spam other people if their computer gets infected. So good question. Can Church 360 members and Church 360 Unite sync with Shepherd Staff Finance? The answer to that is no. The Church 360 members and Church 360 Unite, I guess Church 360 and Church 360 members and Church 360 Unite work with each other. Church 360 Unite and Church 360, restate that, Church 360 Unite and Shepherd Staff work with each other. And then you can do a one-time upload from Shepherd staff to Church360 ledger. So it's not a sync process. It's like an upload, and then you would start using Church360 ledger at that point in time. There's another question from Jonathan. Any possibility of integrating with any email service like Mailchimp or Constant Contact? At this point in time, it doesn't integrate with Mailchimp or Constant Contact. We will add that in as feedback. I think that's a really good idea. I don't know exactly how that would work, but there's definitely some benefits that could be gained by the church for integrating with something as powerful as, actually both of those are really powerful softwares. They're both great products, but unfortunately at this time there's not an integration between our product and either of those two. Okay. Well, if there aren't any other questions, I hope everybody enjoyed this session, and I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Thank you so much, Ruth Ann. I appreciate it. Okay. I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of the afternoon, a wonderful lunch, and I hope to speak to everybody soon. For James Bowman, this is Rod Kiles. We are signing off.